The worst time to play the worst match of your career is when your opponent is playing the best match of theirs. Carlos Alcaraz found that out at the US Open on Thursday night, as Botic van der Zandschulp, world number 74, knocked him out of the tournament in straight sets, 6-1, 7-5, 6-4. It was Alcaraz's worst defeat since 2 weeks ago, when he put in an error-strewn performance against Gael Monfils in Cincinnati. Despite van der Zandschulp racing through the first set, the listless Alcaraz, world number 3, looked primed to get back to business when he broke back from 2-1 down in the second. He roused himself and the crowd, as he has done so many times before from losing positions. But it never quite happened. Van der Zandschulp broke at 5-5 and 4-4, giving himself the chance to serve for the second set, and then for the match. Although he was peaking, it was not a case of redlining with ridiculous winners and shots from another galaxy. He defended resolutely, covering incredible amounts of court and producing difficult shots on the stretch and under pressure time and again. Coupled with the winning strategy of rushing the net, where he won 28 of 35 points played, the Dutchman simply outplayed Alcaraz. Van der Zandschulp had never beaten a top 10 player at a Grand Slam tournament before this match, but he has been ranked inside the top 20, with 6 top 10 wins on the ATP Tour.